Smoke tires, not drugs, what we teach the kids. I candy man, castrate that rap, the middle finger to the sky, scream fuck, rap the big cops trying to get me going state to state. Blowing tires off the rim, let them haters hate.
All right, guys, welcome to Choi Candy Pod, Chit Chat Dis Dat. Today, I've got my buddy Fisher on, Brenton Fisher. Say he's one of my newer mates, my newer friends. New as in years now, but I only met him when I moved up to Gold Coast. Funny story, we actually met because of HP boys, hey?
Yeah.
I did a post saying need a G-Wagon to do a drop-off for the HP boys, and then Fisher reached out.
No, Sean rang me.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, Sean rang me and goes,
Oh, yeah.
hey, Troy needs a black G-Wagon. Do you want to go pick up some rappers?
There we go.
Why not?
And then it was funny because I always talk about this sort of every podcast, you know, the way you sort of talk to people differently when you can start to see the way they talk. You know, they've got, oh, yeah, he's got fucking big drive. Oh, he's got more. Oh, yeah. And then, like, we actually were hanging out, talking, just killing time while the boys were, you know, we're out the front of the hotel. They were stuffing around or whatever. And then I was talking to Fish and I was like, oh, he's got his head screwed on. Oh, he's obviously got a nice car. He's doing well. And I think we sort of had a fair bit of mutual conversations and stuff like that. And then I went home and looked you on Instagram. I'm like, fuck, he's a drug dealer for sure. As people do. Nah, after me being called that my whole life when I'm not one, I'm definitely one to not do that to other people. But yeah, so ever since then, we've sort of hung out. We've done a lot of stuff together. Haven't done any business together, but I still feel like you've been pretty close with business, as in like you've assisted us with launching the G-Out parties on the yacht, the house, twice.
Yeah.
3 times, I think.
Actually, 3.
I think we did the initial one there, the after party at Cali.
Yeah.
Peach party.
Yep.
We've used the yacht.
Yeah, for the green apple.
Oh, yeah, the green apple party. Yeah,
Yes.
fuck.
No, it's been good.
So, yeah, a bit of background over the years. And one thing I've noticed is every time I'm at your house, putting stories up, doing this, doing that, obviously people do a bit of research, see you're a concreter, and then all the accusations start getting thrown out because concreters supposedly aren't allowed to fucking do well for themselves, even though they fucking...
Oh, they can do well. They just, people don't think that there's that kind of money in it, or, you know, you've got to be earning a lot of cash, stuff like that. Like, I'll admit it, at the start, the business was smaller. People always ask, oh, how much for cash, mate? You know, I want to save a deal. Everyone knows tradies do cash. But you can't go and buy or build, you know, houses, yachts, cars with cash.
Yeah. You got to accumulate proper wealth.
Oh, you won't get bank loans. You know, your cash, you might think you're saving, you know, your
Tax
27, 35, whatever you're paying %. But in the long run, it's hurting you. You need to earn big money to borrow big. But money makes money. So one thing I've learned is safely, without putting yourself into stupid debt, is borrow as much as you safely can and use that money to make money. Because it's not the money I've earned over time that is big. It's what I've done with the money. So let's say, for instance, you earn 10 mil a year and I earn 1. But you're reckless with your money and you have a mad time maybe, but you spend 9 of that 10. Whereas I turn my 1 into 2. I'm $1 million better off than you, even though you weren't 10 times, you know, what I did. So a big thing I say to friends and stuff like that, or people that just randomly ask on site or something, is it's how you spend your money. Like, sometimes the answer is in the problem.
I'm a big believer in that, bro. Like, you know, you're the same as me. Oh, Fisher's got a mad S-Class, you know, he just blows his money. No, a mad deal would have come up where someone needed the car gone and he would have paid under market value. Oh, he's got a mad boat. So, like, look, there's some things that you buy, there's no way around it. But a lot of things, if you're smart with your money, you got the money there, right place, right time, you can get yourself a good deal. And I feel like you're like that, same as me, not even just with big purchases, but with little purchases where someone's charging an extra $300 on a service that they shouldn't, you pull them up for it. You're like, you work hard for your money. So when it's like, when you're being ripped off, you're like, you appreciate to go, nah, that you're charging me too much, or I shouldn't be spending that, or, you know, I feel like we're very same like that. Like,
yeah, it's only a deal if it's fair.
Yeah.
You know, or I believe I'm getting, you know, you're right. Old mate was, had that for a year, whatever. And then, was going to wholesale it, and my mate rang me and goes, "Hey, you want an S class, didn't you?" I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "I got a mate that's just going to wholesale it, but if you want it, you can have it for that."
Yeah, instead of going out, I want an S class, I want it now. You know, when you get people go, I want it now. So they don't get that opportunity.
How long were we talking about S classes?
Yeah,
and
ages.
And then all of a sudden I'm like, "Oh, hey, check this out. Look what
Yeah.
popped up." So I never emotionally buy anything because it will generally cost you more than what it should because you're out there wanting, I have to have it. Then generally when people get these things, they go, "Oh, fuck, I don't even want it that much anymore," and then lose a ton of money.
Well, it's exact same with like Adrian, and this is something people, please stop asking me to buy things at 10% over retail because it's for a giveaway. It doesn't work like that. But what I tell people, like, you should show Adrian my house. You should show Adrian my car. You should see if he wants to buy this. Say, Adrian should be your last opportunity. You should have tried to sell online, tried to do this, tried to do that, because the way Adrian buys is he's the one that's getting that deal. You're stuck with it. You can't sell it. You need it gone. You're in trouble. Bang. Because he's not emotionally attached to the prizes that we give away. He's not emotionally attached to the house that we give away. It's not, he'll pay more for something that he really wants, but people like think, oh, because it's a giveaway, Adrian will pay more. It's like you building a house and paying more for your materials because it's all right. Fisher's got the house sold, so buy the wood off me. Like
he's going to make a profit, so we'll just jam a bit more up on it.
Yeah. But I mean, just to give everyone a bit of rundown, without going into the nitty gritty, the reason that for anyone that is saying, oh, okay, what, when you're saying Fisher's doing well as a concreter, we're sort of talking like, like your two houses combined would be worth over 20 mil, wouldn't it?
The Hope Island's already been, I had an offer of 12.
Yeah.
Not finished yet. And then
what's a Runaway Bay?
Runaway Bay, one real estate agent came and said he had some buyers and they wanted to spend 15 and would I sell? I'm like, where do I go?
Yeah.
I said, point me in the direction of something better than this and I'll take it. But
Yeah.
So
that's what I'm talking. I'm talking like, I'm not talking a concrete. It's got, a few Maloos, some Harleys and, a shack, like not a bad house. Like to you guys who haven't followed, Fisher's built some crazy houses, and this is accumulated from time from flipping like units and stuff back in the day, which we'll get stuck into. But a few big houses, some nice cars, and fucking mad yacht. And this is what I think a lot of trades would scratch their head from going to the apprenticeship to earning $2-3 grand a week to going out themselves, having a couple of boys on them, to where's that gap? How do you end up with 20 million houses, yachts, fucking? So I think it would be good to touch back on, like, I don't know, 16-year-old you, what you did. I'm guessing you dropped out earlier. Is that judging a book by its cover?
I went to Tweed River High, which was like a great, good school, but hectic school too. And then left in year 10, and I just wanted to work. I knew I wanted to work.
Yeah.
I went cabinet making first and fucking hated it because it was routine. Start at 7, 9 o'clock smoko, 12 o'clock lunch, and then finish here, and it reminded me of school. And I just didn't like it anymore. It was boring as fuck.
Yeah.
So then, I started concreting, and then, did it for a fair while. Picked it up pretty quick, and then realised my boss at the time, when I did leave, he was just I was doing everything. It was like I was running his business, and I just went one day. I spoke to a mate of mine. He was out on his own as well. Just sort of went out on his own, and he's like, "Come do days with me." And then we'll do your days as as work picks up, and and we helped each other out, and then we ended up both sort of busy enough that we split, and I'm very grateful for that. We're still, me and Gleno are still really good friends, to this day. We go way back, and that's how it sort of all started. And then my
what was your first time where you were, so you say you're concreting, and you got a couple of boys under you, and you're like when you were 16, dropping out of year 10, were you like, I'm going to have houses and yachts and that? Were you one of them people, or were you like, did you start getting surprised along the way where you're like, oh,
no, it was just cars. All I cared about then was cars. So I started with, doing up old old bombs, you know, old Commodores and stuff like that. We used to ride around on our BMXs when we were young, and just back then there were cars in people's backyards, cars in people's front yards, cars dumped in the bush, and we'd go and tinker with them and get them going and make a couple $100 and go and get the next one. And that was when we were like 14, 15. When I got a little bit older, I, you know, started off, you know, with the V8 stuff, all that sort of thing. Easy to sell because everyone wants a V8. Then moved into sort of Mercs and stuff like that, a little bit of prestige stuff. Then imported a couple 360s from the UK, Gallardo, Aston Martin, Bentley.
Is that like the yellow Gallardo that you spun out on the main straight?
It was coming onto the main straight, all right? There's debris on the road.
That's a crazy video. So you were, I guess that's cool because you got to get it out of your system and enjoy driving them, but at the same time you're making money on them.
Yeah, and it was the principle I used for that, starting with the cars. It was like I didn't spend any of my car money. So my work money was like my spending money, but the cars I just
kept it all separate.
better car, until then had enough for a couple cars. And and so it just sort of snowballed from there with the cars. And then it got to a point where I had so much money tied up in cars that I had a H1 Hummer imported from the States and did that up. And I made big profit on that. I think I made like 50 or 60 grand on the Hummer. And then I
Who was teaching you how to import cars and shit?
just met a mate that was from the UK, and so he had a contact over there. He was able to bring
Because
me
I
in.
remember too when I was like younger, I was looking at dollar for dollar and I was looking at like same thing, like 360s and that.
Yeah.
And then I started talking to people and they're like, oh, the freight, the duties, this, that, the conversions, or the compliance, or this and that. And there was just so much. I'm like, oh, that's a lot. There's a lot goes into it.
Yeah, I was lucky I had him because he did most of it, you know, and he put a bit on top and happy days. You
That's
know?
sick.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Everyone needs to make money. You got to share the pie. You try and be greedy in business, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So he was helping me do that, and then I got the Hummer, and then I was talking to the ex-father-in-law Tony, and I said, mate, what do I do with this money? And he's like,
What are we talking, like 200 grand, 3, 4, 5, like
I
roughly? Like how many cars you had, you reckon?
Oh, too many to remember. So many fucking cars.
No, at
and all
once,
different stuff.
collected at once. Like you started having 5 cars.
Well, I think I had the most. I don't know. The most I had at one stage was like money tied up in cars. I had the Bentley, the Gallardo, the Huracans that just came out, so I got one of them.
So that's
And
a
then
bit.
the Chevelle, that blown methanol
And
Chevelle.
most of that had all been from flipping cars.
Yeah, yep. Of course, I invest some of my concreting money into it, like, you know, as well. You know, all my
But you never cashed out of that and started buying other shit. You just kept buying more cars.
just kept turning cars into cars until there was a unit in Coolangatta for 195,000, and I went, can't go wrong with that. So I bought that for 195.
Is that what your father-in-law suggested?
Yeah, go into property, and then
And how old are you? The only reason I want to ask these questions very clearly is because the whole thing is everyone's scratching their head. There's people, trades in the same position, you know, where like, you know, I'm already starting to get a clearer picture of how you are to where you are now. Just, I've known you for ages and just this chat, I'm like, oh yeah, it makes sense. Like, cause I flipped cars, reinvested, like you said, turn a 20 grand car, mate, and then a 40 grand car, 80 grand, like.
the most money I've ever made is from property.
Yeah.
By far. That's my best advice is get in. I know it's hard for young people in that these days. It's harder than ever. Like you said, you're not going to find a $195,000 unit near the beach.
Yeah.
Now.
What, how old were you when you bought that unit?
Can't remember. Would have been
20s, 30s?
Yeah, 20s, like early to mid 20s.
Fuck, so you had some hectic cars in your 20s, but.
Yeah. It was.
That's
it was good.
sick.
Yeah. Sorry, like people who like on Facebook and like, oh, I just saw a Gallardo going through South Tweed. And like, you know, back then that was just never seen down in Tweed. But yeah, so I bought that one unit, and then the rent was like great, and so it was positively geared. Like the rent was paying for more than it. So my account's like, oh, I'll just buy another one. So I bought a second one,
And started
same thing happened again. And
offloading cars?
no, I still had the cars, but because of the rent and my income, I was able to borrow. And
That's
because it's getting rented, so the rent goes towards your income. Like you'll get an appraisal on it. So then the finance company's like, yep. You know, the bank's like, yep.
So
Then
for you,
it's-
going for the absolute cheapest style house, trying to get the average rent is better than, say, trying to get back then $1 million house, trying to get.
I believe the best bang for buck to start off with is even to these days, as an example, 2-bedroom units, 2 young people can, like mates or whoever, can split the rent because it's 2 better. 1 better, you can't do that. So they're not, in my opinion, they're not as good as investment as
So
2.
don't go too low. Just
But a 2, you'll make the most, because a 2-bedroom unit, let's say for instance, $500,000, you can get a cheap one for. The rent from that will be great compared to what your outlay is. You go and look at like a house at Sovereign Island that's worth $4 to $5 to $6 million. They're renting out for $3,000, and so your return is like tiny.
Yeah.
But on a 2-bedroom unit, so I got lucky where these little units, the returns were great on them.
Yeah.
And then I built a house in Coolangatta as well. It was on a steep block, but it was up on like the hill, and it looked over Kira all the way to Surfers. And I saw the block, and I knew that the driveway was going to be like steep and that sort of stuff. But me being me, I went, I can do this. I climbed the tree on the block one day and saw the view and thought, if I can make this happen, this view is going to be all time. So took a risk, paid $347 for the block, because no one wanted to. Everyone's quotes for the driveways were over $100,000. Like he was showing me, he goes, look, this is access to the
so
block.
much work to be done.
Will be $100,000. I did it for 15
Fuck. So you're up straight away.
straight away, and then built the
What
house.
was that? You did it yourself?
Used a mate of mine. He gave me a hand, and he's the one that helped me on anglers as well, Nick. And we worked together on it. Of course, I did all the concreting and retaining stuff like that. He did all the chippy stuff, and then used my trades. And
So you've always, because you're really good at that now, every time I ask you a question, you're like, nah, shouldn't be paying that. You know what, just get this from him, get him, like you're very connected in the trades, but even that, also when, I feel like when people tell you, no, it can't be done, nah, it's going to take longer than 12 months, nah, it's going to do this, you seem to have like, even though it's not your professional field, you seem to still know, and you're right, usually you're like, you get shit done quicker, cheaper.
100%. But it's, man, there's so much we can go into with business that's in my brain. It'd be so hard. We'd run out of time. But
but you've always had that eye to be like, nah, I can do it better. I can do it cheaper.
Oh, well, and man, like just the guy, I'm a very like, fuck it, let's just give it a go. Glass is half full in life. If you've got the attitude of the glass is half full, and just you give it. Sometimes it can be dangerous because you'll try it, like you'll do other stuff as well, and you're like, all right, I'll give this a crack, and it's like, oh shit, I only just pulled that off, you know. But yeah, I look at it always glass is half full, and I knew that it's a bit risky, but I could get it done, and I made really, really good money off that house as well.
Guys, just quickly, huge shout out to my sponsors, Livco. They are the only hats you'll see me wearing. They are the best fit. They've got heaps of different colours. And if you like me and got a bit of a big head, they've got all sizes catered. I have a discount code, Candy. There's a link in the description. Check it out. Jump on their website. Support them. They support me. This is why I can afford to keep putting time and money into doing these podcasts and vlogs. Cheers, guys. What's where all the money always is, or in every industry, as soon as there's risk involved, there's bigger reward. If there was no risk, the reward wouldn't be big because everyone would be doing it.
If it was easy and everyone could do it, if making money was easy, then everyone would be rich.
It's that fine line, isn't it, of doing a dumb risk where you lose everything, or just a risk that's big enough where it could fuck you up a little bit, but you pull it off.
Calculated risk.
Yeah, calculated.
And back yourself. Like, honestly, don't back yourself in, like you said, in a stupid decision. Back yourself in, get the loan. Like,
have a bit of confidence. I feel like talking to you very similar, very similar situation with Oscar, but commercial, young, this, that. He brought the land. Everyone said, nah, the sewage is wrong. He's like, nah, I feel like it's right. And they're like, no, we've measured it. He went and double measured it. Found it was different. Up, money, made mad money straight away just by finding that. And, same thing, backing himself, not doubting, take a bit of a risk. And
when I bought that place I live in now, that block, people were like, oh, you're paying way too much for it. Because short backstory on that is, family friend lives up the road and used to go to Christmas at his place sometimes. It was the ex's uncle. And I used to joke with him all the time, I'll be your neighbour one day, I'll be your neighbour one day, because the spot is like all time.
Well, you got water, beachfront, canal back. It's pretty...
and the boat's right out on the Broadwater in 2 minutes. So it's so awesome spot. And one day he rang me and goes, hey, mate, you're joking about always being my neighbour. He goes, here's your opportunity. This block has been held by the original developer since, the 50s or 60s, whenever it was developed. He said, you're just going to have to give them, what they want, but this is your way into the street. And I just didn't think twice, just bang,
Did
done.
you try and negotiate or
No. Well, no, that I did, but like, of course,
he
it
was
just
going nowhere? He's just like,
it's,
nah,
it's like, yeah.
it's this
So
or-
we ended up. What had actually happened was a developer had got his hands on the block and the two houses next door and was going to put units there, and the street was up in arms because at that time it was zoned for it. And so
the street didn't want the unit.
no, and so they'd end up all in court and this and that bullshit, and then I ended up he just didn't want to go to court, this and that. So I got the block. One of my neighbours got the house next to me, and the other neighbour got the one next to me.
That's sick.
Yeah.
So going from flipping cars younger, using a trade to use cash flow to buy cars, and then with the cars using that money to flip and make more and important stuff.
Yeah.
And then starting to exit some of the cars, use the funds to buy the property.
Yeah.
You've made good cash flow, like positive gearing it, expanding your portfolio of property. You've got a couple of units, and then you've bought this block, or did you sell those units?
No, I had the units because they were renting and just doing their
Sweet.
thing in the background.
And then you've got this block, built this.
Yeah.
And then, because I'm trying to work out when I met you, like in how far.
So I just sold the Cooley house.
So you
and-
built that house with the
Yep.
mad view.
Yep.
Did good on that.
Yep.
You
And
sold
then-
it. You didn't rent it.
No. Sold
Just
that.
made actually good money.
Well, that was
on
my
that.
principal place of residency, so I didn't have to pay tax. But
Yep.
the units, when I sold them, I had to pay tax. But still, the profit, mate, the most expensive unit I bought was $300K. The cheapest one I sold was five. Like after time, they all went through the roof. That Kira got
Double,
pretty popular.
pretty much, yeah.
So had that money from the house and them, and that's what I bought the block with. And then I met you when I was in that renting that penthouse unit. And
So I didn't see that house. So I sort of met you as you transitioned from all your properties,
Yeah.
and you sort of combined them into the Runaway Babe one.
Yep.
Oh,
yep.
True. That's hectic.
And so, but I was renting that unit, and it was like $1,400 a week. But in my head, I went, you've worked hard, you've made some smart decisions. It's expensive for rent, but it was nice. And I'm like,
Yeah.
just treat yourself,
Yeah.
And so I did that. And then after 6 months, I sort of, the lease was up, and I went, what the fuck am I doing paying $1,400 a week for something else? And that's when I ended up buying the Paradise Point house that I'm selling. Oh, it's just gone on the market today, I think.
Yeah.
Because it just silly decision.
You felt like you could be using that money to make money.
Well, I had money in the bank, so I bought Errol and offset the loan, and I wasn't paying anything. So I was making now $1,400 a week that I was losing in a way, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
So
That's what I mean. Like when I say, you and your decision of money making, you could be splurging a lot harder, but you're, like $1,400 a week. It's a lot of money, but it's not enough to beat you. Like a lot of people will be like, nah, like, I want to live like this now. Whereas you like pulled yourself up and go, you know what? I don't need a penthouse. I'm trying to build my dream house. Like,
but also that's got a lot to do with my parents don't have they're not poor, but they're not well off. They're they're just.
they taught you to be like frugal and smart with your money.
Yeah, they're just the average Aussie 9 to 5 workers.
Yeah.
And when I was growing up, seeing the kids getting picked up from school in the SS Commodores or the nice cars and stuff with the cool shoes and all this and that, sort of stuck in my head that, that's what I want one day. But also mum was very, very savvy with like money. And so to me, even to this day still, which is great, $1,000 a week to me is a shitload of money.
Yeah.
Like I
'Cause you're
view
just
that
thinking-
as a lot,
You're just thinking what you did with when you were earning, like how much you got done.
Yeah, well, that's all I used to live off when I was, younger. That was all my money, and so but it's a good thing to respect money.
Yeah.
And so I didn't want to waste that $1,400 anymore. And it was a great thing because the real estate agent that's listed it, I said to him, look, I'm going to sell it no matter what, whatever, so it's going to go. I said, but what do you think it's worth now? And he's like, you will double your money on this house.
Again?
Yeah, on this one that'll pay. And I bought it in 2021. And it's just, good thing is it's on a Res B corner block, so it's developable.
Yeah.
But it's too good of a house to knock down in my eyes at the moment. So I'm going to sell it. Someone will buy it for sure. But he said, minimum, I guarantee I'll double your money. So
you've had a good run. You've been able to, like you said, turn 200 into 400, 400 into 800 effectively. Big journey doing it, and a lot of risk involved, a lot of hard work, I assume, and negotiations, and there would have been there'd be a lot of shit in the back end that people didn't see of dealing with, like, I'm sure you had maybe troubles with some tenants and You know,
Oh, that's why I'm selling it. I couldn't rent it anymore. Late rent,
Really?
whinging, just doing stupid shit, not being able to turn a screwdriver to fix something. You know, it's like, oh, get someone out to fix this. Like, hey, just turn a screwdriver and that'll be fixed.
And is that why you're looking at? Because it's from looking now till now, now I know you, the houses you're building and everything, you're getting more enjoyment and I guess return on actually just building a really superior home and flipping it. You're not dealing with rental and like stuff like is that the goal? Or do you want to keep buying more rentals and that?
No more rentals. No more
So
rentals.
you just like to build
like holding, like each their own. People have their own beliefs about what, you know, and that works for them. But me, holding property, like compounding your profit, it just, you know, equals way better returns.
Yeah.
If you sit and hold, yes, you make money. You might make 10%, 20%, 30%, you know, over the years, whatever the market does. Sometimes you get lucky and make a lot. But if I can do these, like, you know, I'm trying to do these top end homes, to sit and hold them would not be beneficial. It's get your money, you know, make profit out of it, go again, turn, you know, money makes money.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. 100%.
you know, if you're dealing with $1 million, you know, and you make 20%, you're 200 grand. You're dealing with 10 mil, there's $2 million, you know.
Yep. So I guess that for Fisher's future goals, what's that looks like? Same thing, compounding money to building sort of like luxury.
Well,
And this is another thing that we probably just skipped over is the difference with you not renting out the properties and stuff and actually building the houses because of your trade background and how knowledgeable you are and don't take no for an answer and ring around to get more quotes. Because of that, you're not just paying full price for a build and trying to make some money on it. You're getting that build done for under market value and then you're selling it. So you're getting a...
Oh, bro, people can't believe, and they probably don't believe how cheap per square metre I can do this. Now, I know the concrete is a huge factor and I'm doing it for cost.
Yeah.
And beneficial to the jobs I've done.
Yep.
You know, my products, I think I'm buying the cheapest concrete in Oz. So Gold Coast is the cheapest place to buy it in Australia, and I'm probably getting it, I think cheaper than anyone else. So that's a huge contributor to how like cheap I can do it for. But it's how much time and money these other guys waste, and I see them procrastinate.
You're not pulling them up.
And it's like, I really enjoy doing this. And I think because I enjoy doing it,
So
I'm
like,
just
let's go,
onto
let's
it.
go,
Yeah.
let's go.
And I'm not an asshole that's pushy. I'm just
Back to
organised.
back, yeah. When he's done, he should be in here. When he's done, he should be in here. It's like...
And just communication. So say, for instance, you know, you're the tiler and in before you use the waterproofer. You know, I've got you guys 6 weeks ahead getting phone calls going, hey, mate, going to need you to waterproof these bathrooms. They're going to be ready roughly around here. And so book me for that. Then I'll tell, hey, mate, you got to stay off these for 48 hours. But after that, your window opens here.
Bro, it took me a year to do my balcony just to coordinate balustrades, tiles, waterproofing. It took me, and I said to Anita, some days I'm like, oh, should I have built a house and, you know, like done a house and land package? And then after doing that,
don't help it. I'll build it for you. But yeah, it's happening quick. Like that slab went down in October and we're painting, tiling.
That house is stunning. That's well, you've already had offers and people haven't even got to properly see what it's going to look like. But
yeah.
So how serious you want to get would you continue concreting forever, or would you like to eventually put enough capital in where you can just...
I've had my business for 17 years and it's hard to give that up.
Yeah.
It's what got me to where I am.
It's like me with eye candy, bro. Yeah. It's like I found myself, the money I'm earning in... Put it this way, I now earn more off YouTube than what iCandy Motorsports was paying me.
Yeah.
But yet iCandy Motorsports was 20 times harder and stressful. Yeah. And I kept doing it. And I had to pull myself up and be like, Troy, through life, you have all these things that'll get you to stage here. You know, you'll have some friends that'll get you this stage, or you have some business and you have to learn when you're on growth and to leave that behind. And that was what really hard thing for me was to be like, okay, it's the hours it's taking from me for the return.
100% time management. Your time is money, as they say. So for instance, that the reason why I'm selling the Paradise Point house is it's a great developable block. And I was going to knock it and put 2 separate dwellings or 4 townhouses on it, but it'll still take me 12 months of my time. And I look at 12 months of my time on that and I might make $1 to $2 mil. it's not worth it. If I do a trophy home, it's making a lot more in the same amount of time. Yes, there's more money invested, but it's, if I've got the money there to do it, why would I do this little thing over here when you can do this over here? So time management is crucial for like if you're trying to use that to make money. Yeah.
And with, obviously you've made a lot of money with your money. That's what we've talked about, the whole thing, reinvesting, using money, using that money from concreting to buy cars. But also that you wouldn't say you didn't make much money concreting. Like you had some mad gigs.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it started off small, and then at the time, me mate, he ended up with the boat works there, and
because that's like for people that aren't familiar with Gold Coast, that's probably one of the biggest marinas. Like
I think
boat builders.
I just saw him put an ad on Instagram. I think it's in the biggest privately owned in the Southern Hemisphere.
Yeah, so it's a, and they've been spending like it. It looks like it's been growing.
Expanded, yeah. So
that's a big job.
Yeah, there's that, and there's a couple other big ones. I've been next door at Riviera Boats as well, across the road at Maritimo. So I got my foot in the door in this sort of niche area, and once one person saw that you're doing good and talks to him and goes, "Hey, did this guy look after you?" He's like, "Yeah, really did." And then I give him a quote, and they're like, "Poof, when can you do it?" Like I said to you before, because I get the product so cheap, no one can touch my prices. Yeah. So like when I give someone a quote, no one's near it. Yeah. So it's like a win-win snowball effect sort of thing, but. Yeah, it's strange because that's my like ex-father-in-law, and everyone's like, "Oh, what? You mates with him still?" But when his daughter and I split, we stayed cool. Yeah. Shared the dog still, you know, and left on good terms. And it was funny because I even said to him, "I'm like, mate, I feel more upset about losing you as a friend than I do your daughter as a missus."
Like
you know,
I've met people through my partners. I don't talk to the ex-partners, but I've like got really good friendships with, and shit. It's just It's I mean, he's someone pretty interesting to meet though.
Yeah, well, I was a bit of a fanboy because for everyone listening, it's Tony Longhurst that used to race V8 supercars. So I used to watch him as a kid run around the track, and you know, you look at those people and like, oh yeah, they're sick. You know, I want to be able to drive a car like them or something like that. Yeah. But
did you know that was his daughter when you met her, or did you meet her and then go home and be like, what the fuck?
Yeah. And I remember going home to my parents and going, I was just in Tony Longhurst's penthouse.
That would be trippy.
No way, yeah. And then he for someone that's successful with money, the most genuine, nice guy you'll ever meet.
And I'm guessing you've spoken like he's not necessarily a mentor, but you seem to go to him when there's something big or financial advice. He seems to obviously have his head screwed on.
Well, even his dad, John, that built Dream World and all that, you know, like when they talk, you sit down and listen and you learn. And it's great. And so, at times, like when I've got decisions to make, I'll ring him and be like, hey, you know, especially he was the first person I rang when I got the offer on the house. I'm like, what do you reckon I do with this, you know? But yeah, big love and respect for that guy. He's like taught me a lot, helped me out massively in life. But even as Tony's brother is Rodney that owns Riviera Boats, and people are like, oh, you only made money because it was your ex's dad, you know, this and that. But as Rodney said to me one day when I was explaining that someone said that once, he said, mate, that guy, you know, you might have been his son-in-law, but he wouldn't use you if you were shit or didn't do a good job.
Yeah, exactly. It's his business.
Yeah, he said, and he's ruthless in business because you do him over, he will cut you off. Like, he's no bullshit, straight down the line, very, very honest businessman. But like, I earned that. Like, I've worked my ass off there. We've done so much there. And I've given him a great deal, but there's so much that's been a great deal for me too. And it's got me to where my pricing is with my stuff, which I pass on then to my other clients. So it's like everyone's having a win that's involved.
Well, it's like, you know, I'm a big believer in, you know, if you're sitting at the table doing all the talking, you're probably at the wrong table. There's nothing better for me personally than sitting at a table and taking in, like, I love hearing shit, learning shit. Like, you know, if you're not, like me, if I'm sitting somewhere and I'm not learning or having at least an in-depth conversation, my brain just switches off and I'm like just staring at the person where I'm like, and that's where I feel like what I was saying earlier is when I just met you, I could see, I'm like, I reckon we're going to be good mates because, you know, we'll chew the ear off each other till fucking 4 a.m. but start 8 businesses. But I can talk with you fully sober. Like sometimes I'm like, fuck, I gotta go. Like we've been talking for ages and we've got that, you know, I like a really good in-depth conversation where, you know, you're learning a lot or someone who's got And like ever since I met you, like, oh, I'm gonna have this house on the beach, blah, blah, I'm gonna have this car. And then, you know, it's like, hey, the house is done, come see it. Oh, guess what? I got the S-Class. I went with you to pick up the yacht. Remember, you're like, bro, I'm gonna get this yacht. And like, so it's really exciting for me to, when I say surround yourself like people like this, because when you're around people, I feel that are doing nothing, it's like, it doesn't motivate you in any way. But when you're around people like, hey, this is what I want, I'm going to get it, and then they get it, it gives me a kick up the ass.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I'll admit, like, I bought a boat, whatever, a couple of years ago, a few years ago. I thought that would be sweet. And then when obviously I'd love a yacht, but I'm like, because I grew up from like Frankston in Melbourne, like owning a yacht was like Bill Gates has a yacht, and that's it, you know? But like seeing people like, you know, you come up, I've seen how you did it, and I remember there was a bit of like, get the G, cash adjustment, this like if you just go, oh, a couple $1 million in a yacht, I can't, like, I just, you know, it's too big of a gap. But when I'm actually hanging out with you, seeing how you do it, I'll put this down as a payment, or I'll finance this, or I'll swap the cars, some cash on top, start like, so then, you know, now in my head, I'm like, I'm going to get a yacht. Like that idea that was like, oh, yachts are for Bill Gates and that's it, is now gone. It's like, I've seen someone in my circle do it, so I can do it too.
Well, the thing is as well, it's you've got to be thinking about it. Like if your brain isn't thinking about like daydreaming, I'll call it like daydreaming. I'll be at
like
work
drilled,
sometimes.
like subconsciously just fucking.
And I'll be like, that's what I want. You know, like that boat that's in Sydney. I've been for a year now. Just I want that. And it's looking like that deal's going to happen. You know, I think you need to daydream about it and picture. Just me personally, anyway, each their own. But I think about like.
What do you picture doing on that yacht?
Real bad man.
Oh shit, we've had some good times on that.
Fucking hell, it's black market. Yeah. Real good. Peel Island trip.
But I agree. Like I remember when I wanted the 360. I made a USB with all the songs that I wanted to play in the car, because I was like, has to be white, convertible, bang. So I had a car cover. I had a Ferrari car cover, but I didn't have a Ferrari. I had a USB with all the like 6 songs that I knew would sound sick, and I wanted to cruise it on, because it was like, it was so drilled in my head, like it was gonna. I almost felt like I had it before I had it.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Is that what you get? Like where you like?
Well, did you ever see the little black model Countach? Did I show you that at the house? I've just got it sitting.
Yeah.
So my uncle got me that car, and I remember it was just a little black model Countach, but I thought that was the most awesome present I'd ever gotten. And I said to Mum, I was like, look at this car. Like, do you reckon we could get the real one day? And Mum was like, yeah, sweetie, we'll just sell the house and we'll buy that car. And I was like, oh, sweet, cool. Anyway, about a month went past. And
Mum's
like,
a legend.
Mum, when are we going to sell the house and get this car already? You know, I want to rock up to school in this thing. And she's like, oh, look, I'm sorry, I was just joking. Well, what are we going to do? Sell the house and live in the car? Yeah. You know? And I sort of like got heartbroken. I said to her, I'll buy it one day then, Mum. I'll get it. And I've had that model car ever since. And then one day I saw a red Countach up at my mate Michael's dealership. And I'm like, bullshit. Like, I'd never seen one in real life before. And I was like, hey, mate. Actually, this is how I met Michael. Didn't know him yet, but a friend put me in touch with him. And I said, hey, mate, can I just come and look at the car? I don't want to kick your tyres, but this is my childhood dream car. I've got a Model 1 at home that I've, like, stared at for years since I was a kid. I said, I've just got to see one. He's like, for sure, mate. Come up. No worries. So I went up there and then looked at it. And then I was like, nah, I'm not leaving here without it.
Fuck, that's hectic. Was that had the dial?
Call 000.
Call 000 plates?
Yeah. No, it was the owner I found out was going through a bit of a divorce. And so I was like, listen, buddy, don't mean to be rude, but I know what you're going through.
And if you're going to flog it off cheap, I'm your guy.
Well, no, I said to him, I'll go to the bank, I'll pull out some cash for you. And then we'll do this side on the books, and you can then show an invoice for this, and then, you know, tell the missus whatever you want, you sold it for, you know, this and that. And he's like, yep, all right, that's the best deal I've had come across. So,
and I'm guessing you made money on that car in the end anyway?
Not a lot, because when I got it, he hadn't driven it a lot, and it had a few, like those old Italian cars. A few bugs up. They got the old Bosch injection on them, mechanical injection. It's a prick. But spent a bit of money, probably made 30 grand on it or something like that. But
but still, like I said, most people see this stuff and they're, how does he live when he keeps losing so much money on shit? Like,
no, never.
It's like you you buy the nice things, but you wait. Like, you know, you could have brought it earlier and gone out, paid more, financed it, and got
And
it.
I guess I kind of just contradicted myself, didn't I? Because I was so emotional about that car. But, you know,
Yeah,
I still bought it as a deal. Like, it wasn't.
Yeah, but I think it was a bit different when, like I was saying, if you just said, that's it, I'm going out and buying a Countach today, you would have rang 3-4 different people, got your best deal and taken it. But it was sort of the way it happened, was like, oh, can I have a look? What's the story? It's like you weren't ringing people back to back for a week.
No, I wasn't looking for one either, but it just turned up. And then, you know, I think what amped me up too was a lot of people saw it and were like, holy shit, check out this unicorn, you know, and sharing it on their Instagrams. I was seeing friends and stuff like that, and just made me want it even more. Like,
Word on the grapevine, you just got a naughty little toy that you just brought. Did you get the Supra or not?
oh,
You doing it?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
Hectic. You've actually got a similar taste in cars as me, where it's like Jap, Euro,
Yeah.
supercar,
Old
fucking-
American muscle in there.
Have you had HSVs and shit?
No, for a brief time I had, like, I just moved it on pretty quick though, but it had GDO coupe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
I
we
just
got pretty-
quickly bought it, drove it a bit, then sold it.
We had the old E-Class Mercs with the double headlights on airbag. Was yours bagged too? Or
No,
just
that was
slams?
static. I just cut the fuck out of the springs.
It's crazy. Yeah, we like a lot of the same cars, which is cool.
Yeah, yep. I had a white 33. That was like the first Jap turbo cool sort of car I had.
Yeah.
And I've still got the number plates off it.
Oh yeah.
And so I want to get another 33, but I'll probably get it. It was a GDST. I want to get a GDR.
Yeah.
And then have the 33 GDR and the Supra next to each other. It's kind of like the two 2J versus 26 sort of thing. I reckon that'd be pretty cool to have in the basement.
Yeah, you got some cool toys. How's it gone? I was going to say, like, it's funny because I keep going back to it. I feel like I relate to a lot of things, even though we're completely different. You being a trade and the way I went, and different. Like on Melbourne, you'll hear about. I do when we're chewing each other's ears off. I'm like, I really relate to this. But a huge thing I feel like we've had similar, which is annoying as fuck, is I guess some tattoos, some veneers, and some jewelry, and some nice shit. And people go, "You're a drug dealer," this and that. And I've had our door kicked in, raided, been labelled on the news as like, linked to underworld drug dealing. And, I've had like Anita's bank accounts have been shut down, and we've had so many troubles. And, it's not nice knowing that people can just sort of slander you with shit and there's no repercussions, because it does tarnish your name, especially when you start trying to climb you up the ladder and networking bigger. You don't want people going, oh, I heard this, I saw this, and I heard that. And you've had a lot of this stuff pop up in your life.
But to be honest, a lot of it is my own fault though.
All right, guys, huge shout out to 2 Savage for jumping on board. They are a major sponsor. This is why I can do this. And if you haven't checked them out yet, these guys make some cracker sunnies. These are actually our collaboration we did for their safety sunnies. But all the other sunnies have got different color lenses, different color frames. They are super, super strong too, like very, very strong. And we do have a discount code, Candy, and there's a link in the description. Jump on their website, grab yourself a set, support them. They support what we do. That means more vlogs, more podcasts. Yeah,
so
okay.
We're kind of taking a big turn somewhere else now.
Yeah.
But when I was younger, I had mates that owned nightclubs, bars, beach clubs, this sort of thing, local ones. And, and I'll admit it, you're down there, you're showing off in front, you think you're the man, you got...
Get the booze straight to the front of the line.
Yeah,
fucking
all
drink,
this sort of thing. Everyone's scabbing, this is the thing. People will say, oh, I knew he was doing this or doing that. I would have given away more drugs than I ever would have sold,
Yeah.
It's like I never, ever made
You're just
money.
You're still the same today, not with drugs, but with partying. You just like people having a good time. You always host. Everyone can come back to my house. Everyone, like you love a good time.
You want everyone to have a better time.
Even the yacht, when I said, bro, why are you getting a bigger yacht? Your yacht's fine. Like, I want to have more people on it. I want to do this. It's like you're that guy that, you buy things for other people, Oh, I'll get a Because I remember I want an S-Class coupe. Like, I want a 4-door. Imagine we can take the girls on the dates, this and that. Like, you're always thinking about other people.
Yeah,
so
I'm very social
I could
person,
imagine
very
you
social.
younger
Yeah.
just being like, I want everyone to have fun.
But also, the problem is your ego grows. Everyone's back rubbing you, being your fucking mate. Like, they're not my mates, they're just using me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And then this image gets portrayed, and like, you think you're a sick cunt. You're not. I look back, like, do you ever look back at things and like, I'm happy to be
Bro,
like, honest, and I'm like,
Facebook captions for me, like memories pop up, and I'm like,
I know, and I've done and said things, and I'm like, oh, I would have bashed me back then. Fuck, you know? And I like.
But that's good, because imagine the people that haven't had that personal growth where they look back and what they were doing was they don't have a problem with it. It's like, that's why we are the way we are, because we're growing that much. We look back and we're like,
but it fucked me up in a lot of ways, because then portraying that party sort of lifestyle, all that, the cars, you know, I think especially when I got the Huracan, that was a big like
red flag. People thought there was no legitimacy to
100%. And so, you know, it led to me having a home invasion in my house.
Is this from that? Is that sort of time when?
Yeah, and so obviously, you know, these people that...
Do you care to... This is hectic. It's pretty...
No.
It's
Like, a lot of people know about it. But, yeah, it's like, obviously, people from that world look out and go, there's no way that cunt's making that much money, legit. And also, everyone wants to talk shit, because when you're doing well, it's from this, because it makes them feel better about themselves, because, he's only doing well because he's taking the easy route.
Yeah, it makes them feel not like so lazy. Like, I was going to work hard like him, but then I found out it's from drugs. So that's why I'm not working hard. You know, it's like, it is just the way they think.
And so obviously just rumors, talk, the look, all that sort of thing. Like, you know, probably the way I was behaving as well. You know, it then, you know, puts you in the spotlight. And these people thought, all right, we can go and rob this guy and there's nothing he can do about it, because it's all, you know, from proceeds of crime, or, you know,
you can't call the cops. It's
nothing. So well, I was at home, and I could hear this banging on the front door, and I'm like, fuck, what the fuck is that? And I thought, it's one of the boys pissed as, because my house you could walk to from town, so, you know, we'd always pre-drink at mine and walk in. Yeah, everyone was always at mine, and we'd go out and end up back at my house. So I'm thinking, someone's, you know, it's one of the boys trying to get in pissed as or something, needs help, or I don't know what it was. So I've walked up there, had a housemate at the time, and he sort of met me at the top of this. He came from downstairs, and he's like, what the fuck is that? And I'm like, I don't know. As I've gone to unlock, I've twisted the deadbolt on the door, because I was trying to kick the door in, but they couldn't get in. And then they've started kicking an office window in. So I've undone the deadbolt, but then got distracted by the window getting kicked in. As I look out the window, there's this gun with a silencer on it, and it just goes poof and blows the window out. And I'm like, fuck. So I bolt back to the room to like, my missus is there.
Hectic.
And his missus downstairs.
Is this your missus now?
Yeah.
Fuck, that's hectic.
Yeah, so, or my wife. Better say wife. Yeah. She'll pull me up on that. But, yeah, she, anyway, I ran back to the room, and I'm like, I was like, hide, because my room was like the way to get to it. It was like the only one way in and out. And I was like, hide in the ensuite, just hide in the ensuite. Someone's got a gun. Anyway, my mates ran downstairs, and, you know, probably done the same, hit his missus or whatever. By the time I've turned around, there's this gun in my head, in my face. And they're like, where's your cash? Where's your drug? Where's your jewelry? Where's your key? Blah, blah, blah. And me being, like I said, a bit arrogant, being a bit of a fuckwit back then, I'm like, in my head, I'm like, get the fuck out of my house. Like, fuck off, you know, in my head. And he's like, I'll give you to the count of 3. And in my head, I'm like, yeah, whatever, what are you going to do? And he's like, 1, 2, bang, and then shot me in the leg. And then immediately I'm like,
fuck, he's going to kill me.
Fuck, this is on. Like, this is real now. I'm thinking, I didn't even know if the gun was like at the start, you know.
It could be a replica or something.
Or something like that. But then, you know, when they shot out, first glance of it, then they shoot a window with it. You know, okay, this is, you know, sort of real. But I never thought they were going to shoot me. And then when that happened, just adrenaline took over, and I just lunged. I grabbed the gun. It had a silencer on the end of it, so I sort of had half that, half the gun. And I've got a scar on my hand. I had grabbed hold of it that hard that the sight off the top of it was still lodged in my hand. They pulled it out in the hospital. So I was wrestling for life with this guy, this big dude. And anyway, there was another guy there that had like some sort of like a pickaxe handle or something like that. And he's just wailing on me with that. Anyway,
You were just focused. I got to keep this gun off me.
Yeah, and so when I had that, I pushed it into old mate's face, and then he sort of just fucking backflipped out of the doorway, because this is all happening in the doorway of my bedroom.
Sort of aimed it at him, yeah.
Pushed it in his face, and he's backflipped backwards. And then when he sort of shuffled, at the same time, my housemates ran up and sort of snuck past him and come into the room. And he's like, "What the fuck is going on here?" And I just remember old mate with the bat came again at me, and I put my hand up to protect my face, and it cracked me across the hand, and I felt like, oh, that hurt. Like, that's bad. I thought, I can't cop another one of them. So I've just pushed old mate with a gun sort of like into him, and then my housemate was in the room, and my bed was against the wall, but I had a walk-in, walk-out wardrobe behind the bed, so you could go like in and out. Yeah, U-shape. These guys obviously didn't know the house. So I've just got my hand in his back, it's blood pissing out everywhere, and I'm just like, go, just pushing him, and we ran around the bed and ran into the wardrobe, and then ran back out of the wardrobe, and then back out, and managed to get out of the room. And I just thought in my head, I've just got to get these guys out of the house, just got to get them out of the house. So I thought, yep, they'll chase me out of the house. But yeah, they came out. I had a little shoebox safe, and they've obviously grabbed that, and it's so fucked because I had money in that shoebox safe. It wasn't bolted down, but it was my birthday in 2 nights' time.
Yeah.
And so in my head, I had some cash in the drawer, and it was from concreting. It's all legit. And I thought, it's easy for someone to come in your room and grab cash or go through your drawers. So I got this cash and I threw it in the safe, and these fuckers got it. So because the safe wasn't bolted down, I thought no one's going to walk out of my house with a safe, so I'll just put the cash in the safe. And yeah, so then they've grabbed that. Then they've come out. They've grabbed the missus' car keys and taken her car and left. Thank fuck, because I was like outside and I ran like down the side of the house, thinking they were still right behind me. And there was a
you
bit
wouldn't
of
even be looking back.
I just thought I'm out and I'll run around, and jump a fence.
Bro.
And then they took off, and then I came out. Do you know the thing that upset me the most?
What?
They tried to shoot my dogs. The dogs, my little Frenchies, the dog beds had bullet holes in the beds.
Oh, to make sure they didn't bark?
No, like, just, I don't know why. Like, because I didn't know at the time. So much shit must have been going on. My brain's like...
And then when you were looking back later, you're like, why is there bullet holes in my fucking...
Yeah, and there's bullets lodged in the floor and through the bed, under the dog bed. And I think my mate's missus was like, yeah, I could hear one of them saying, well, shoot his dog then, shoot his dog. I never heard it, but she reckons they did. But I'm like, that's weak.
Bro, if they were going to shoot your dog, they would definitely didn't hesitate to shoot you in the leg, bro.
So, yeah, I've come back up into the house, and everyone came out and like, is everyone okay? Is everyone okay? And like, yeah, and I'm like, fucking hell. I'm like, all right. So I grabbed my phone, rang an Amber. I'm like, hey, I've just been shot in the leg. And he goes, okay, what with? And I was like, oh, like, no, sorry. I said, I've been shot in the leg. And he goes, okay, mate, he asked a few questions, and they were like just real random, like dumb questions, like, oh, is it with a...
Is it bleeding?
No, it was like more like what with?
Yeah.
He was like, oh, okay, you've been shot. He's like, is it bad? How bad is it? This and that. I said, oh, it's bleeding. And he's like, how badly bleeding? I'm like, oh, it's pissing out. And he goes, and what were you shot with? I said, a gun. He goes, a gun? What kind of gun? I said, like a gun that shoots bullets, like a real gun. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry, mate. You're just extremely calm for someone that's been shot with a gun. And I was like,
he's thinking like a Nerf gun in the...
Yeah, or something like that, yeah. And I'm like, oh, yeah, no, I'm all right. It's all good. And he's like, mate, there's an ambulance on the way, this and that. And then when the ambulance got there, I was standing just at the kitchen island bench. And he goes, okay, mate, can you show me who's been shot? Where is he? And I'm like, oh, it's me. And they're like, what are you doing standing up? And they're like, oh, no, I'm all good. And I started walking around the house. I'm like, no, I'm all good, man. I'm all good. Like, I went to like see him.
The adrenaline would have just been fucking...
And they're like, mate, sit down. I'm like, no, it's all good. I'll walk out with you. And they're like, sit down. And then one of them just, I don't know what it was, hit me with a needle. And then they walked me over to a chair. And I remember it just went, just dropped me. And they're like, all right, now we'll take you out to the ambulance.
Yeah, the adrenaline would have been fucking...
Yeah, it was fucking up there. It was a bit of an episode. And Yeah, I just felt bad for the poor missus, you know, freaked her out, you
Bro.
know, like
That would have been nuts. That would have been fucking nuts, man.
yeah, and so yeah, it was quite the
Well, yeah, and then obviously that would have got talked about in your area, so everyone was like, yeah, I told you he's like involved with that shit. Same as me when like, you know, we got our door kicked in and you see everyone going, oh, you don't just get your door kicked in. I'm like, well, I did. Oh, trust me, all my fucking friends' dad's a cop. They don't just like, unless you do, I'm like, I can't argue with these people. I've done nothing wrong. They've, you know, same as even my shop getting burnt down. That was not that long ago. Everyone's like, oh, see, told you he's doing dodgy shit.
yeah.
The people got found that did it. I don't fucking know them. I don't know who that is. But people just straight away, they're just like, you know what I mean? So I feel like it's something annoying that.
Oh well, that led.
That's
to
why I
way,
wanted
way
to get you on
fucking
here,
more, way
you know?
more because then obviously coppers think, oh, normal people don't just get shot. So then I'm
started
getting
getting
investigated. And Task Force, I got Task Force Maximum got the ATO onto me because they've got their own little ATO crew in their office in Brisbane.
Fuck, so this was the start of like headaches. This wasn't.
Oh,
this was
right,
just the start of it.
It was torture. It was absolute torture. So then, and yeah, they were like trying to. I had to fully explain like my wealth and all this and that. But the ATO went. They were way worse than the coppers, and they are. They right before Christmas wiped my bank accounts, took every dollar from my GST, my business, and my personal
What, you logged in and it
account.
said zero, or you couldn't log in?
Logged in, zero.
The money was gone.
Gone. And I'm like, what the hell? And then I rang ANZ and they're like, yeah, ATO's done it. Then I get this like
Bro, you would've felt sick.
smart ass detective comes up and goes, oh, hey, mate, I've just got an envelope for you. Or rang me and goes, hey, mate, I've got an envelope for you. Not too sure what's in it, but can we meet up so I can give it to you in person? I'm like, yeah, righto. Anyway, comes to the house. He goes, here you go, mate. Merry Christmas. And I'm like, oh, thanks. So I open it up and it's this, it's the
Summons
ATO.
or-
No, it's an ATO paperwork
Audit.
going, yep, audited me back 5 years and go, you owe us, it was 330 or 350,000. And at the time, I'm like, bullshit, I don't know this. I knew I didn't. So I wasn't panicking too much, but I had to then explain. They went through and said like certain things like, as an example, QT Hotel has a buffet called Bazaar. It's $80 a head. They went through and went, oh, that's income. That's income. That's income. And I'm like, no, it's not. I'd go back, show them, prove to them that was on this date. We went to dinner and that's how much dinner is. Here's a screenshot of the menu,
Do you know what's annoying too is while you're doing that, you're losing time, losing money. They're getting paid for like their wage so they could just harass you for hours and hours and hours. They're getting paid, so who cares?
Oh, and they didn't give a shit. Like they just didn't
Ruthless.
get back to, like they took their sweet ass time. And then it got to the point where we went, right, we're taking you to court because this is not fair. And as soon as I paid the fee to do the court proceedings, then the ATO came back and went, okay, well, what do you want then? And we're like, well, we owe you this much and we've got this much to pay you. But the ATO were trying to charge me 75% penalties, which is mean you owe them 100 grand, you owe them 175. And we're like, that's not fair. I haven't done anything wrong. I haven't tried to like rob yous or say that a car is a Bobcat or anything like that. I haven't, I'm just late with paying yous. So end up doing a deal with them. They said, all right, pay 25% and we'll just, and get over and done with it. And I was like, yep, pay them the 100 grand plus the 25 or whatever. But yeah, even it just, it was such a inconvenient.
Bro, it is. Like I said, Anita's bank account still now. She can't get money out of her OnlyFans and just headaches. Like there's news articles we can't get rid of. There's just so much. It's like, what can you do? You know, it's a pain. And this is the thing that annoys me is I see people talk shit about everyone. I see people talk shit about Adrian, this and that. I'm like, you can't be loud if you're doing the wrong thing. Like if you're legitimately doing really the wrong thing, you're not going to post shit on social media. You're not going to be doing everything everywhere. I'm like, people like us, do you know what I mean? Like, you can't fucking drive a fucking Lambo. You can't have a $5-10 million house put on Instagram if the money's.
Well, the thing is, it's so proceeds of crime and your tax, proving your tax. They're to two laws where you're guilty and have to prove you're innocent.
Yeah.
So, they went through my accounts. I feel sorry for a bit of advice for anyone that might be doing the wrong thing. you don't understand how ruthless they are. They will go through every dot. They'll get you for $10, you know, and say, right, there's a pattern of, you know, something. They are ruthless, and they, you know, you say, oh, well, how'd you buy that bike you got there? Oh, cash. Okay, that's okay. Where'd you get the cash from? My mum. Okay, that's cool. You're allowed to get cash from your mum. All right, Mrs. Williams, where'd you get the cash from that Troy bought the motorbike with? Oh, I don't know, makes up some bullshit excuse where she can't prove it. Oh, I've just, you know, they're like, all right, fine, we'll charge you with unexplained wealth or proceeds of crime. And you're not going to let your mum get stitched up. So they do this all day, every day for a job.
And it's like, how am I supposed to remember 5 years ago at a dinner I paid or a fucking...
I had to go through bank
scooter
statements.
I brought, like...
Yeah. I had to go through 5 years of bank statements and prove every single transaction was this or business or personal.
Bro, I'm not even going to get to touch into the things because we've been talking for an hour. See, this is us. This is how our nights end up at 4 a.m.
It's been an hour already.
Yeah.
Oh, you're kidding. Fuck, there's so much to
There
say.
is so much, which is good. It means if you guys want to hear more, we can do another one. I think I really wanted to understand your story because I think this is the hard thing. I feel like a lot of people now underestimate trades because when I was in school, all the tradies were the ones with the most money because, you know, trades pay well and there wasn't much else you could do. And then growing up, there's been a lot of avenues to open outside of trades. So then it's almost not switch, but a lot of people think like, oh, I want to earn big money, so I don't want to get into a trade. Like I think a lot of people underestimate, you know, that it's trades are a step ladder to like property development, commercial property. Look at Oscar. Look at this. Like Oscar was a concreter. Yeah. Same thing. So it's good, I think, to bit of reassurance for some of the young dudes out there that are doing it. You know, no one wants to fucking work an apprenticeship where, I mean, back when I was young, I think it was $250 a week, but I'm sure it's still only $500 a week or something.
Biggest problem is I read a statistic yesterday that for every 100 tradies that are retiring due to, you know, getting older and just leaving the business, there's only 7 coming in. So trades are going to get so expensive. What they're saying is there's not enough people to learn from, so the trades are going to get sloppier because you've got all these guys with knowledge that are leaving and all these young guys coming in needing to learn and not having enough people to learn from.
Everyone will end up with a roof like mine.
Oh, I don't know if that'd be that bad. But yeah, it's scary.
That's crazy. Every 100 leaves, 7 coming in.
Yeah, it'll put the price of trades through it because these days, who wants to work in the sun? No one. Like my missus comes home from work and goes, oh, fuck, it was hot today. I was like, you're in an office. I was actually physically working in that, you know.
Yeah.
And that's the thing too. I still am in every pool.
Yeah.
Like to this day. Every now and again, like if I'm super busy with something, I'll get a good mate of mine. He comes to give me a hand. I trust him to watch over it.
Yeah.
But 99% of the time, I'm still there. So that's why I sort of want to branch away from it a bit. But like I said, it's too good to give up. But I just want to do the houses now, you know?
Like you said, even if you had the money, you still wouldn't have had your eye for detail and knowledge on being able to flip these houses without your trade.
Yeah.
Even if you came into the money, even if you did whatever, like, so I guess for some of the younger dudes that are, maybe they're listening to this on Spotify on the way to work or they're watching it YouTube, but, you know, if you are sort of like, fuck, I'm doing an apprenticeship, I'm earning $500 a week, where's it going to go? Like,
the trade future is going to be huge.
Well, and this is just a good example too. Like you said, it's not exactly about the money earning. It's what you do with it. It's how you do. It's how you apply your knowledge from that trade.
Stepping stone to get like your house. Like I said, real estate is probably, if you're a tradie, real estate's going to be your best way to make money on top.
Yeah, you can buy a house. You can do a lot of shit yourself, and so no, I think I had so many good questions I wanted to ask you, but. I reckon we save it for another episode. Get you back on.
Yeah.
You look a bit less nervous now. So.
I know I was so fidgety at the start because I've never done this before.
I know. And then you end up, it's just two mates talking with a microphone.
I know. But at the same time, it's so, like, I know we talk about building wealth and success and stuff. And one thing I don't like from podcasts is when people just talk about sort of, it's okay if you don't want to. Like, if you just want to cruise through life too, that's perfectly fine and okay. And if you just don't want to,
if you're content, 9 to 5, pay your bills, get shit done. There's
put
nothing
that
wrong
out there
with
as well. That there's nothing wrong with being just who you are and being cruisy, and that's it. You're probably happier than most people who
Bro,
are
how many
successful.
days have you on? Like, I've had so many days, like, over the years where I've really questioned, should I just be using my high level of skill set in my area to be on a really good wage and not have the stress of, like, you know, when something fucks up, it fucks up bad, like you could lose a lot or an accident happen or something. Or, you know, you had those nights where you're staring at the roof, you can't sleep because something bad's happened. And it's only happened because you have to worry about it because it's your business.
Yeah.
There's been that many times where I'm like, man, should I just be like just content, good wage, you know? So yeah, like you said, so many people pushing, oh, you have to do this, this, and this. It's not for everyone. Like,
No, some of the wealthiest people I know are the grumpiest.
yeah,
Everything's a problem for them because they're so used to getting their way. Or,
Yeah.
You know, it's and you see the things up, man, you are just so sad, and that's
yeah.
sad
You
because
gotta have the balance, don't you? Like that's
100%.
why, like, same as you. You work hard. You're like me. When Monday comes, doesn't matter how big our weekend is. When Monday comes, it's fucking on. Like, you know.
balance is, unless I'm helping someone out and they need it done on a Saturday, like for instance, me mate scrapyard or something like that, and he's like, hey mate, can we shut down on Saturday and do the pour? Yep, we can do that, definitely. But I try and give the boys a weekend for friends and family because that way they come to work on Monday.
Yeah, you can't run them into the ground, and nah, sweet. All right, cheers for jumping on, bro.
Oh, lovely.
If you guys got any more questions that we've got to touch base, we might have to do a part 2.
Yeah, I think there was heaps came in, didn't they?
I just checked. There was hundreds.
All right, we'll pick the good ones that I want to answer.
They'll be random.
Yeah, throw a couple fucking curveballs in there.
Oh, sick. Thanks, bro.
Too easy.
It's Friday, then we going live again. So get your snorkels out and let me see some skins. Smoke ties, not drugs, what we teach the kids. I can't even man, destroy that rap. The middle finger to the sky, scream fuck, rap the big cops trying to get me going state to state. Blowing tires off the rim that them haters hate.